Wrapping up the week here at the Voice of College Football. Appreciate you stopping by. Best discussion, debate, and analysis because I'm so awesome? No, because of your contribution, of course. I say that with a straight face. All right. Thank you for being here. Of course, it's because of your contribution. And we don't do this for any other reason because we appreciate you and we enjoy talking college football with you, even in March. We're in March. Yes, we are. We're 7 days deep into March. Thanks for being here, everyone. And a few minutes late. So thanks for your patience. Just needed a couple minutes to step outside. Just needed it. It's a beautiful day where I am. Hopefully a beautiful day where you are. And I have been cooped up since all night, all day, working. So wanted to take just 10 minutes in between assignments and catch a breath of fresh air. So here we are with you. And it again is a finally produced show, meaning I've done nothing to produce the show. If you see in your videos, we have produced what we think is a pretty darn good video that involves a bunch of numbers. So get out your calculators, your abacuses, whatever you use, because numbers. So the ACC, of course, settled with Clemson and Florida State. The result of that is a different revenue split and distribution than what we've had in the past. We did our damnedest to go through the television ratings over 2023 and 24. Convert those to percentages, to dollars, to distributions, and you will see it. Check out the video. It's a good video. All right. We have too many people messing around with StreamYard. I can see that. So number one, wrong color. There we go. We've got the red with the black with the silver. And also, they have done something with our StreamYard in regards to we can no longer show our wonderful background that we built, which is that should be behind me boxing us, but they have taken away our options. We have very few options, and none of those options apply to me except for that one. And for as much as you probably don't want to look at me, I don't consider that a viable option. This is the college football show. Yes, we're being arrogant when we named it, I must admit, but much of that has to do with you and your contribution. The college football show. This is the college football show of record. It will be the best every day. Has it been the best for the first 16 episodes? Not necessarily, but let us get through March. Let us get into spring practice, the spring games in April. And we will have all sorts of great guests here. I've kind of given up going after guests. I've contacted a few people. Again, the height of basketball season into March Madness. This is going to be news, my big take of the day, great guests, your calls. That's what it is here every day, 4 p.m. Eastern time. Had some number of people suggest that we do a late night call-in show at some point during the week. We may oblige. Yes, I miss the late call-in shows. We used to get bigger crowds, maybe a few of you a bit tipsy, get a bit generous, that sort of thing. That doesn't hurt, and certainly so we would have a good time. You know, we would all turn into George is basically what would happen at midnight. So thanks for being here, and we are going to dive into, and apropos to the wardrobe would be the story that came out today regarding a change in the Big 12 schedule, because Colorado, Big 12, Colorado by far the most popular team in the Big 12. It's not even close. Wonder why. Will that be the case this season, next season, and going forward when the Deion hysteria dies down? Well, it did a bit this past fall, 2024. It did a bit. The numbers came down, but they were still far and away the most popular team in the Big 12. Consider that the 10 most viewed, highest rated television games in the Big 12 were played by Colorado. the 7 highest conference games and then add on all 3 non-conference games, Colorado, Colorado, Colorado. Not even close. So people still want to see the Buffs, apparently. And then, of course, they took that 4-8 and they turned it into 9-3, 9-4 with a bowl loss. But no Shedeur Sanders this year, no Travis Hunter. And of course, we will deeper into the offseason. Once we get past the spring practice, the spring game, maybe we'll be on live after the Buffs spring game. We will then convene with all of you following a number of spring games. So basically, over the course of the month of April, expect us on Saturdays to hit you up after the spring games. That's what has been the successful formula in previous years. Hopefully that will continue and we will find some folks out there to talk college football with. Let's go to the chat. Keep in mind that the call-in line has been posted and we're coming out the gate with the call-in line, so you are welcome to join. Tukey G, good afternoon to you. Grayson, the show does start at 4:03. You posted that comment. 4:08, 4:11, 4-ish. 4-ish. Happy Friday to Karen. Nice to see you. And, Grayson, later then, I guess, meaning later, see ya. Sorry we missed you, Grayson. Lisa, go Buckeyes. Hi, Lisa. All our coaches finally at a press conference, so we got to talk to Alp of them. Took me a while to convert that to an L. All of them. So I have been going through and listening to each one. I almost got done. I got 2 more left to go. All right. Thank you for that, Lisa. Maybe you can be a correspondent. I did note during Wednesday's show that I thought, okay, yeah, they're going to meet the media on Friday. Maybe I should listen to those and maybe they have something significant to say. Usually, let's be honest, these players and coaches, especially in the offseason, have nothing to say of note. I know we've got to cover it. I know that I don't need to cover it, but there are guys like our buddy Steve Hellwagon and Tony Girdman that have to cover that and make something out of it. And every so often there's something of consequence stated. Maybe I'll give it a look sometime today. As with a number of teams. Spring practice, often running for most. Ohio State still playing a spring game. Texas canceled. Florida State canceled, even though they didn't even do a spring game before. They just ran through drills. Texas gone, USC gone, and a few others. All right, let's get to the news of the day. What we have here. Every time I open up ESPN's college football page, it seems as though there is a story on Bill Belichick or I am looking at Bill Belichick. And this actually looks like a decent article here from David Hale, Inside the Power Struggle and Culture Change Behind North Carolina's Shocking Hire of Bill Belichick. So, as you might imagine, I'm sure that there was some kind of fight in the administration about whether to make that hire because it's a polarizing hire, not a uniform hire. All right, we've got one of the top players in college football, in high school football, who is reclassified, meaning he no longer is going to be joining the collegiate ranks in 2027, but that's going to be a thing as they love to trick me with the ads. This is a defensive end prospect, Richard Wesley. We talked a lot of Richard Wesley on the recruiting show every Tuesday, typically Wednesday or Thursday this week. Tuesday, 1 p.m. Eastern time on the recruiting channel. Leanne Herring, myself, we talk recruiting, transfer portal live, and Leanne had this information and much more. Richard Wesley, one of the top defensive end recruits for 2027. 2026 is now going to be his cycle. So the 2025 class is obviously playing this season as freshmen. So the 26 class, they are seniors in high school this coming fall. The 27 class, juniors. So this is a junior reclassifying to get into college football sooner. Let's see. So this has become a big thing. I remember when, oh my goodness, I can't remember his name. Daniels, the USC quarterback. He had an acronym for a first name. He had 2 letters for a first name. Not CJ Daniels. I can't think of his name. Chat, please. Daniels, USC quarterback, 2018. Oh my goodness. Then he went to Georgia. Then he went to somewhere else, West Virginia. Then he wound up at Rice. He was kind of the forerunner of going everywhere. But all I can think, every time I think Daniels, I just think CJ Daniels, and I think Jaden Daniels, and I think Jalon Daniels with Kansas. But anyway, he had a DJ Daniels. Oh, it's going to drive me crazy, but I can look it up in about 14 seconds. Anyway, he was kind of the forerunner of this, but he reclassified and played spring football with USC when he was still a senior in high school. And now it's become fairly common. So you got this kid, Wesley, out of California, Sierra Canyon High School. You got Ethan Booby Feaster. Reminds me of Booby Clark. Remember him with the old Cincinnati Bengals in the 1970s? Booby Clark. I thought we were past the day of any boobies on the football field, but we've got Booby Feaster, number 21 in the ESPN Junior 300. Tight end Mark Bowman, running back Xavier Crowell, cornerback Haben Finney, not ranked in the line of the elite former 2027 prospects to reclassify. So about 5 or 6 players, and that's pretty standard now. So it's still rare, but it's not rare that somebody would reclassify. Now, this defensive end, Wesley, has a load of trips lined up. Look at that. Ohio State, Georgia, Texas, Miami, Oregon, USC, Ole Miss, and Texas A&M across March into April. So he has dollar signs in front of his eyes, no doubt, and some big-time offers. And the guys that reclassified this year include 5-star recruits, quarterback Julian Lewis, Colorado, Jakeem Stewart, USC, Texas A&M quarterback, Signe Brady Hart. So that is the deal there. If you love recruiting, dive in. You got some more prospects that are coming out this fall, and so more big decisions to be had. What I wanted to talk about, if I can get this to change, Big 12 games moving to Friday night. So everybody out there, JT Daniels, goodness, my mind was going all over it. I was going TJ, DJ, TJ. Yes, JT Daniels. I tell you, it's similar to talking to a friend the other day, and it seems like just about anybody who comes up from our days in high school, I don't remember them. Now, of course, I remember a ton of people from high school. I graduated with about 500. I probably remember 400, but it just seems like these people are brought up, and whether I see a face and don't recognize it, I do believe somebody could look at my high school picture and look at me now and tell I've aged a zillion years, but I'm still the same guy. But yeah, or I just don't recognize the name. And I can't believe it because 10 years after high school, I would have told you, sure, I'm going to remember all these people. JT Daniels, I remembered exactly. I could remember number 18. I could probably recite some of his stats, but I could not put the two letters together at the beginning of the name. So thank you, Mozart's Ghost. Thank you, Karen. Dave's here is concerned about the changing of state lines. Apparently, there's something going on in Northeast West Virginia. Okay. I'm not aware of there being any controversies there. Lisa heard talk about the Illinois-Ohio State game going to Friday night. Well, Fox took hold of this last year, and there were already games on Friday night, of course. And my angle on this is first, do you care about games on Friday night, Thursday night? Do you just want college football on Saturday, or would you like college football anytime, anywhere possible? And they could play on Tuesday night, as they do in the MAC, Tuesday, Wednesday night. But of course, most of us don't pay attention to those games. But there's typically power conference teams playing on Thursday, playing on Friday. The NFL now plays on Thursday. Nobody really took ownership of Thursday. Now, Friday night, there is ownership there. There is traditional ownership of high school football on Friday. And a lot of people are upset about college football infringing on Friday. It's not a new thing. It's been going on occasion for decades and generations. But in terms of a concerted every week schedule on Friday night of not a full slate of college football, but enough to fill up a prime time and late night college football window, there's typically 4 or 5 games on Friday night. So college football people or high school football people, they complain about this, thinking that college football has its day, the NFL its day, high school football leads off the weekend with its day, and that should not be infringed upon. It's America. Play football whenever you want. If people prefer high school football, then they'll go to their local high school football games. If they prefer to watch college football, then they'll stay home and watch college football. I can't imagine that unless somebody's favorite team is playing on a Friday night, that they would have gone to the college or the high school football game locally that night, but instead they decided to stay home and watch Houston and Tulane. I just don't see that as being much of an impact or a factor. We're also in a day and age when you can actually watch the games later. You can watch the game at the game. You can go to the high school game and watch the college games on your phone. You can watch them later. I just don't see the big deal. I just don't see a big deal, and I just generally don't care. I love the Friday games. What happens because we've got Thursday and Friday football is that there are way too many games on Saturday. I can't watch them all. I can't watch as many games as I would like. There are 4, 5, 6 games per window to watch that I want to watch, and I can only watch 2. That's my max. If I try to watch 3 games at the same time, forget it. I try to watch 2 at the same time. That's kind of my deal. Watch 2 games at the same time. And past that, forget it. So when you spread out games to Thursday and Friday night, what that means is that I get to see more teams play because I can actually concentrate on a game or 2 games on Friday night. And then the Fox network stepped up last year and said, okay, we're really going to showcase Friday games this year. Friday was left to ESPN and Fox Sports Net. Is that what they're called? No, CBS Sportsnet, and Fox stayed out of it. But starting last season, Fox said, we're going to deliver a pretty good lineup. We're going to give you some decent games, mostly out of the Big Ten, some out of the Big 12. So we had 2 or 3 Big 12 games, and the rest were Big 10 games, mid-tier Big 10 games. Nebraska, Illinois was one. Iowa, UCLA was another, and Rutgers, Washington, those kind of games. So I guess the Big 12, this is a good move by the Big 12. This is what the Big 12 should do. And yes, I am wearing a Colorado shirt. This is what the Big 12 should do, is take every opportunity to highlight its conference when they don't have much competition. So good move by the Big 12. And we'll see if there's any particular games that have been highlighted here. Please like the video and subscribe right here at the Voice of College Football. And we've got a small little gathering for our first several shows here the first 3 weeks, but we expect that to change drastically. Keep in mind, again, we've got our recruiting and portal show coming up every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you love high school football recruiting, the transfer portal, interviews, Leanne Herring and myself, that's Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And this is the College Football Show, Mondays through Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Let's look at this business here. The Big 12 has moved 6 of its conference football games to Friday, along with another matchup of league teams that won't count in the standings. When they're going to stop that, I don't know. These games between teams in a league, but they don't count as a league game. So those were the 10 games involving Big 12 teams selected for Fridays by ESPN and Fox. Back up, Mark. Those were among the 10 games involving Big 12 teams selected Friday by the league's television partners. Can they make things any more confusing by citing that the decision was made on Friday, which is today, about Friday games? Okay. ESPN and Fox for Friday night broadcasts. Who wrote this? All right. The Associated Press. Some lackey at the Associated Press. There will be 2 games on 3 of those nights. On the opening weekend, Baylor will host SEC team Auburn, and Colorado will be home against ACC team Georgia Tech on August 29th. Baylor, Auburn, Colorado, Georgia Tech. I like those matchups. Arizona plays at Arizona State, and Utah is at Kansas. That's the last weekend of the season, the day after Thanksgiving. Arizona State, great traditional territorial cup rivalry. Utah, Kansas, fine. There will also be 2 games September 12th with Colorado at Houston and Kansas State at Arizona. That matchup of Wildcats won't count in the Big 12 standings. They did the same thing this past season when Arizona played Kansas State. The other 4 Friday night games are Tulsa at Oklahoma State. Yuck. TCU at Arizona State. Okay, September 26th. West Virginia at BYU. Okay. And Houston at UCF. Not the best games in the Big 12, but something worth viewing. If you love college football, you'll be there. I'll be there. I will see most of that. We would love to recognize and draw attention to our many Patreon members and YouTube channel members. We are posting their names at the bottom of the screen on the ticker. Thank you so much for being a Patreon and or a YouTube channel member. And we're going to do a live stream not next week, maybe the week after. I have taken on a few things in the next week or so. Well, that's going to extend beyond that. That is going to slam my schedule. But it's all good, and it's all for the better. Yes, Ohio State and Northwestern. I don't know, Lisa, that it's been that long ago. I think that was a Justin Fields game. So it might have been 2019. I thought it was more like 2020, 19 or 20. I guess it was that long ago because I think that was a Justin Fields game. Ohio State obliterated Northwestern like 52-3 on a Friday night. Ohio State, I believe, played its first, at least modern day Friday night game. That was against Indiana in 2017, and it was quite the game at Bloomington. And J.K. Dobbins had a huge night, and it was a close game, good game until late third quarter, early fourth quarter. Buckeyes won, I believe, 49-21. That was a Friday night game. Michigan State, I believe, has had more Friday night games. They have played a lot of games against the likes of Western Michigan and Eastern Michigan and Central Michigan on Friday nights. We want to let everyone know that we are anxious and eager, as always, to talk to you. We will leave the call-in line there in the chat. I should do a better job of leaving that on Twitter and also in the description section of the video. Seems like we get more calls when I do that. So that's the deal on the Big 12 on Friday night. So by extension, why don't we just look at these Friday night games top to bottom? So here's the college football schedule starting on, well, this is week 0. So week 0, I'm curious about this. Stanford at Hawaii. That will be late night, I'm sure. Kansas State, Iowa State. That's a great week 0 game. Great. Week 0. Last year we had the big Georgia Tech upset of Florida State as a 2-touchdown underdog that took out Florida State. Last second field goal. In recent years, we had Illinois beat Nebraska. We had Northwestern pull off a big upset against Nebraska. We had a Notre Dame Navy game 2 years ago. I believe that might have been the year before, because it could have been Sam Hartman's first game at Notre Dame. Fresno State, Kansas. That's an interesting game. All right. The next, and we're looking at Fridays. The next week, week 1 on a Friday, nothing. Why don't we have a decent Friday game? What is this? On Thursday, we've got a lot of games. And we have, I'm sure Nebraska Cincinnati is going to be played on Fox or ESPN. And yikes, I don't know who else is going to find a game, because usually there's a decent game on Fox, there's a decent game on ESPN on Thursday night to open the season, quote unquote, open the season after week 0. But that's just a graveyard. And then here on Friday, good Lord, awful. What is college football doing? See, this is the problem. No commissioner in college football, no governing body, and you open the weekend. You open your season on Thursday night with Nebraska and Cincinnati and a lot of the second best game that weekend is going to be the second best matchup. Now, we don't know who's going to actually show up and play good football and just give us a crazy game. Now, East Carolina just beat NC State in a bowl game, so that could be interesting. But these matchups are terrible. This is another reason why college football needs a commissioner, a governing body, and a scheduling team. That's terrible because the conferences don't work together. Therefore, there's not going to be continuity, and there's not going to be a complement to the schedule from conference to conference. There's no one to overlook the entire landscape of college football and look at all the schedules at the same time. It's simply the SEC doing what they do, the Big Ten, the ACC, the Big 12, and everyone else. And nobody is there to look at all of them simultaneously to say, well, this is a really weak weekend. Let's do something about this. This is horrific. And on Thursdays, to open the season in recent years, we've had Nebraska, Minnesota, Minnesota, North Carolina, Penn State, Purdue, Pitt, West Virginia, Colorado, North Dakota State last year. We've got nothing. I'm guessing Nebraska, Cincinnati is going to be on. That's a Cincinnati home game. Technically, they're playing at Kansas City. So that being home game of a Big 12 team should be an ESPN game. And I don't know what Fox is going to do. I don't get this. Are they moving a game? Maybe in the previous article we read that they're moving a game into this Thursday night situation. But those were Friday night games. So you got me. It's terrible. I don't think my Fox is going to air any of those games. Minnesota Buffalo, that looks like a Big Ten Network game. And yikes. Awful. Friday's awful. Friday's awful. Okay, Saturday. We know Saturdays are Saturdays. The next weekend, week 2, Friday. Again, we're going through Friday schedules, folks, because the Big 12 moved games to Friday. Week 2, we've got, yeah. You know what this is. The NFL starts. So college football shies away from the NFL. So no college football games on Thursday in week 2 to clear the path for the NFL. So none of that. And then there are no Friday games in week 2. Okay. That makes no sense. Week 3. These are the Friday games in week 3. Colgate at Syracuse and Kansas State at Arizona. Okay. That's horrific as well. Friday, the next week, week 4, no Friday games and a Rice-Charlotte Thursday game. This is pathetic. It sounds like this is going to be a video coming out by me. All right. Last weekend of September, I can get on board with this. This looks like it's going to be Florida State, Virginia on ESPN and TCU, Arizona State on Fox. That's what that's going to be. All right, I'm fine with that. They're not the greatest games in the world, but for Friday night, sure. Very nice. The first Friday of October, West Virginia, BYU. Okay, we just saw that announced. At least one game, fine. Week 7, we have brutal South Florida and North Texas. The next weekend in October, Friday. All right, I can go with this one. North Carolina, Cal, and Louisville, Miami. There's a nice matchup on a Friday night. Where are we? Week 9, near the end of October. Cal, Virginia Tech, North Texas, Charlotte. We could do better, but there's at least one power conference game there. And then on Friday, October 31st, Halloween, UNC at Syracuse. Okay. All right. At least they're meeting the minimum, but I would like to see 2 decent Friday games. Tulane, Memphis. Okay, that's fine. We're getting into November, and we've got a Friday game of Clemson, Louisville. All right, I'm good with that. Nice. But give us one more. Give us one more game. Week 13, Friday. Florida State, NC State. Nice. All right. We're coming back with some gusto late in the season. And then this is the Friday after Thanksgiving, so this does not count. There's always going to be a decent game. And I have to imagine that, well, two of the Big 12 games we just went over got moved to this date. But I would think that this date is going to become even more flooded, as it always is. Not just Iowa, Nebraska. There's going to be more there. Surprised it's not placed there right now, whether that's Missouri, Arkansas, etc. Jackson's looking to hold an election for college football commissioner. I got to tell you, I would fix the scheduling situation. No doubt, scheduling would get fixed under me. I could promise that. The schools would hate me because I would say in the conferences, well, the conferences can go ahead and schedule their own conferences. But the schools, I would say, you are no longer scheduling your non-conference games. You're done. We will schedule them for you because we are looking at trying to create an equitable schedule. And then next, as college football commissioner, and we're releasing the schedule every year. You're not getting a schedule with a game 7 years from now, 13 years from now. That's over. There's no reason you can't release the schedule every May 1st is my date. May 1st, holiday, college football, front and center. The schedule's released. It would be phenomenal. Next up would be the transfer portal. We would work on the transfer portal and all this revenue sharing business and NIL. NIL, I don't know that there's a lot more that could be worked on. I'm sure there are nuances to NIL that should be cleaned up, but can't really do much about NIL. It's a free country, and athletes can be paid by companies and boosters and so forth. There should be nothing against that. I'm more concerned with the transfer portal and obligating these student athletes to play for a school, to make money. And with money, just like in the real world, there is accountability and there is responsibility with having a job and making money. Therefore, you've got to be accountable and you got to show up to work. And if you don't like that and you don't like where you are, well, you're going to have to wait until a certain point in time in which a contract runs out or something happens to where you can leave. I received my Colorado shirt here as a gift. So that was very nice of one of our viewers who may not want to be disclosed, who sent me a nice shirt here. So, and it fits well. It's very nice. I don't know if it looks good, but it looked good. Looked good in the packaging. I don't know if it looks good on me, but it's a good looking shirt. Fits well. Quality shirt. Very nice. I should just wear this now on a regular basis to see if it stirs people up. I'm sure at some point it will. People will have no idea why he's wearing a Colorado shirt. All right, folks. We have gone through the news of the day. I don't believe we've got much else. We've got the call-in number there in the chat. We can see what Josh Heupel has to say about playing spring games. This whole spring game business, that's annoying too. And that would be one of the things I would target as college football commissioner. You're playing spring games. You're going to play a spring game. It's good for the sport. The fans want to see it. Both the fans that can make it to the park that can't afford, a family of four typically cannot afford college football games. The average American family can't afford to go to a college football game in the fall. Therefore, allow them to go in the spring for free so they can have some experience of college football. And then also play the game. Don't be paranoid about putting anything on tape. Don't be paranoid about putting your athletes out there to be tampered with, because that would also be taken care of, because we would take care of the transfer portal and clean that up. From Josh Heupel, we have Tennessee will hold its spring game in the usual spring scrimmage format, April 12th. Josh Heupel says creating a big stage for the players this time of year benefits their development. The game attracted more than 58,000 fans in 2023. Neyland Stadium's spring game capacity was reduced to 10,000 last year because of a renovation project, and the limit will be about 45,000 this year. So Josh Heupel just stating all the benefits of having a spring game. When I was in Mississippi, these were big weekends, and maybe they still are. At Ole Miss, Alabama, Mississippi State, you would typically have a home basketball game. If they could work it out in the SEC basketball schedule, a home basketball game, spring football game, and the baseball team would be at home for a weekend series. They would put it all together. So it'd be a one big Bulldog, Rebel, Crimson Tide sports weekend. And just to reiterate here about scrapped spring games, that includes Nebraska, Ohio State, Texas, and USC. Shame on you. Nebraska coach Matt Rhule has expressed concerns about schools scouting his spring game and attempting to entice players to enter the transfer portal. Well, I'm not saying that can't happen, won't happen, but if you adhere to the sport, take care of some other things going on, like the transfer portal, like NIL, then you can just play spring football and not worry about it. There should be spring football for the families that cannot afford to go to college football games, first and foremost, and as a television show for college football fans to see their favorite team be showcased. Not to watch the game necessarily, to see a little bit of the game, but it's not a game. It's a scrimmage. It's nothing to watch, but it's a TV show showcasing the team, and should be played and should be mandated. All right, once again, what I've done is I've taken the ACC, the 60-40 split that was announced this week in terms of revenue distribution, and we tore through it. We went through all the TV ratings from 2023 and 24. We determined the percentages of viewers watching each individual team, and we put that together with the projected revenue for the entire conference, put it into that 60-40 model, and it is something to behold, folks. So check it out. And of course, Disputed National Champions, the link is in the description section down below. Disputed National Champions, you'll love it. Get yourself a copy. We are proud to announce that we have launched Instagram on the Voice of College Football. If you're on Instagram, please join us there. That is my Instagram. That is not necessarily the Instagram. Let's go to my followers if we can find that. Where in the heck are the people that I follow? How do I find? Oh my word. Oh my goodness. Where do I find? There we go. So follow us on Instagram. They post content that you won't see anywhere else. There we see a recent short from our Biggest 12 show, also the top 10 offensive lineman transfers and others. So check it out. Top 10 transfer running backs, top 10 transfer quarterbacks, wide receivers, top 10 recruits since 2000. Jadeveon Clowney, number 1. Cyrus Kouandjio of Alabama. I remember when he was there. Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, Brian Bresee, Bryce Young, Walker Little, Robert Kimdichie, Leonard Fournette, Jeremiah Smith. Top 10 high school seniors in their schools. Bryce Underwood. Keelan Russell. We talked about Keelan Russell on our recruiting and transfer portal show on Thursday. Elijah Griffin, DeCorian Moore, Naeem Offord, Michael Fasusi, David Sanders, Justin Terry, Jonah Williams, Tavion St. Clair. So again, join us on Instagram. Argue and debate our rankings and ratings there. Just look up the Voice of College Football at the VOCFB on both Twitter and on Instagram. One more time on the call-in line, and as Jackson has posted, that's the Instagram link right there. It would be phenomenal if you would join us on Instagram, and please follow us there. So the link is in the chat. And one more time on the call-in line, going once, going twice, going 3 times. You may see me this weekend. I doubt it. It's possible. We'll see what goes on, but you will see me churning out content. We posted a video again this afternoon with Clemson and Florida State and the entire ACC since the settlement and the new TV deal and new distribution of the money and how that will play out based on 2023, based on 2024 TV ratings. It's quite interesting. So, for example, from an even distribution, everybody gets the same regardless of how you play, who watches your games, how many people watch, any of that. The disparity over 2 years grows to as much as $64 million. $64 million based on the numbers I ran. All right, folks, appreciate you being here at the Voice of College Football. Our next scheduled show with me is Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. We will join you then, and have a great weekend. And if there's college football to talk about, we will be here. Tell your friends. Oh, Tukey, 11 p.m. Eastern Time, Friday live stream. We'll see how I feel and if there's nothing else going on. But I did state earlier in the show that I have had a lot of requests from people who have said, I cannot make the 4 p.m. Eastern Time show. A lot of people who have also told me, Mark, when a lot more people were watching you, they were watching you because you were on late at night. So maybe we'll find some time late at night. Maybe we'll move that around each week. We'll do Monday late night, 1 week, Tuesday, Thursday, whenever. We'll switch it around. Or we could find a designated night. Maybe moving it around would be good. The late night call-in show, the late night wild card, or the wild card late night call-in show just pops up late at night, or I announce at the beginning of the week it's going to be Sunday night this week, it's going to be Thursday night this week, whatever it may turn out to be. That's a good thought. I like that. Tukey G, 11 p.m. Eastern Time, confirmed. Well, the call-in shows work better when people actually call in as well. That used to not be a problem. We used to have lines and lines and lines of calls. Again, a lot of people have told me 4 p.m. Eastern Time doesn't necessarily work for them. This show has been catered to also deliver some great guests. So we will be on that in the next few weeks. Appreciate you being here at the Voice of College Football. We will see you soon.